We all have something we are trying to achieve, whether it's losing 20 pounds, making $5,000 a month, or setting a new personal record in the gym. These things are constantly on our minds because we know they are what we desperately need for our personal growth, but how do we go about completing these lofty goals? Well, for this question there is only one answer. Work towards it. This is where you might think, no, duh. I already know that, because at this point in your life it should be drilled into your mind. Since we were little kids, everyone has been telling us to work for what you want, but they never went into what that exactly entails. If you're like me, you probably scour the internet searching for the perfect surefire way to make guaranteed sales, lose weight fast, and build big biceps, when what you really need to do is take action. Why are we like this? It's because we've replaced the mentality of working hard for what you want with work smarter not harder, when ideally we should be doing both. But if you could only choose one, choose to work hard, which begins by you taking action, because when it comes to achieving our dreams, the most important thing is the first step. Once you do that, you gain momentum through consistency, and then it's smooth sailing from there. Now you hear these phrases a lot in the self-help and business community, but what does taking action and gaining momentum actually mean? Taking action sounds like something only the most motivated, hungry and brave individuals do, but in reality it's something everyone does every day. All the time. Let me explain. When you are thirsty, you take action on it by grabbing a cup, then heading to the fridge, or when you're hungry you take action to find something to eat. This is also the critical moment where you make the choice between right and wrong action. Right action would be grabbing your cup and pouring yourself a glass of water. Wrong action would be choosing the soda. When people say take action, they mean take right action, and that simply means going with the choice that is going to benefit you in the long run instead of the short term. This is common sense. We know we should go with long-term benefit, but why do we always pick short-term gratification? It's because you are always with the now you in the present, while the future you, the one who actually benefits from good choices, is always somewhere else in the future. And the now you screams at the top of their lungs to be satisfied immediately, while the future you calls you up like once a month to see how it's going. The now you. The future you. In the long run you will be having to do more work to please the now you, because not only will you have to deal with the negative consequences of your bad decisions. You will have to correct those decisions, meaning you will have to undo what you just did and then also do what you should have done in the first place. Due to human psychology, when you make wrong decisions, you must justify in your head why you made them, lying to yourself, and convince everyone else why you don't have good results, lying to them by making excuses. So do yourself a favor and do the right thing. This brings me to my next point, gaining momentum and why it's important. Let's say you've been consistently taking right action and making good decisions all month long. After eating all this healthy food, lifting weights, and working on your business instead of being lazy, you now have something to show for it. Your muscles are bigger, you don't feel bloated, and you have $500 extra in your bank account this month. Up until this point you never felt the results of these good decisions, but now every time the now you looks in the mirror or checks your bank account you get a hit of satisfaction. But it doesn't stop there. If you keep this up, one day you have women chasing you, you drive an exotic car, and you have more money than you could spend. This is called gaining momentum. The actions you take in the present build upon themselves as time goes on. So it works like this: if you're making money, you can use that money to make even more money, or your healthy habits become so second nature to you that you can find ways to be even more healthy. But be aware that the opposite of this can happen as well. You take out a loan and never pay it, now you owe more and more money every day, you get lazy and now the business is losing its customer base, so eventually you have even less money than you started with. Your bank account is now a negative number. So you have to be really careful with negative momentum, as it works a lot faster than positive momentum. Have you ever tried losing weight? It takes forever to lose even 5 pounds, but you can gain all of it back in a matter of days. Positive momentum is powerful, but the catch is that you have to work for it every day or you'll never see results. Think about it this way: is eating one baby carrot a week going to help you lose weight when the rest of the time is spent eating junk? Is going to the gym once a month going to build your muscles? It's the same thing with business, you have to do it every day to get results. Mindset: think of business progress as a muddy hill. Attempting to roll a boulder up a muddy hill, you would have to be continuously rolling it all the time, because the second you stop, you start to slide back down. Eventually when you reach the top of the hill, it becomes easy to roll the boulder because now you're rolling it down the hill instead of up. Consistency is key. My most helpful tips to stop procrastination. While all of these concepts are important, I understand that some people are uncomfortable with the actual process of making the first move to begin a new habit. This means that even though they know taking a certain action will be good for them, they can even bring themselves to do it and will beat themselves up about it at the same time. This is unhealthy and causes unnecessary anxiety, which feeds into a vicious cycle of inaction. The best way to start something. Imagine the task broken down into small chunks with each step of the process laid out into its most basic form. You should then only focus on the smallest first step possible, so now instead of deciding to start a diet, which to your brain would sound like an overwhelming and drastic lifestyle change, you only think of a daily goal like replace one soda today with a water, or even tea if that's too much, and build on that by adding additional small steps over time. For example, you should cut out fries next time or most breads. Another example would be, instead of telling yourself you need to clean your whole house in one day, try to clean a section of one room every day this week. Eventually cleaning is easy to you and you can clean without giving it a second thought. Your living space will even stay clean because you're just doing maintenance once all the big messes have been cleared out. So basically you're trying to find the right amount of action to take each day so the momentum effect can set in, not too little where it doesn't make a difference, like the baby carrot a week example, but not so much action that you get overwhelmed and give up. But even if this seemed like too difficult of a strategy, I will go more in depth on this topic in the future, so make sure you check back on the site once in a while. Okay, before I close the article, I want to leave you with a few practical strategies that I use every day to make it easier for me to take right action. Number 1. Affirmations. Now this might sound a little weird, but if you write down your short-term goal like this: I will lose 5 pounds by the end of this month, or I will make $5,000 a month by the end of this year on a notepad, and do it repeatedly until the page is filled with your goal, it brainwashes your subconscious to keep looking throughout the day for opportunities to further yourself towards that goal. By doing this every day, you become more and more likely to make good decisions with right action in mind. Number 2. To-do list. Your biggest goals aren't the only thing you should be mindful of. You need to take small steps every day towards your goal. Maybe you have an exercise routine or a make money online program to help you achieve your goals, but having the knowledge isn't enough. You actually have to do what's inside the programs to make progress. This is where a to-do list comes in. After you wake up and finish your morning routine, make a list of things you need to get done, beginning with the most important items. By starting with the critical tasks, we ensure that we make significant progress that day, instead of doing tasks that don't make much of an impact. I use Kanban flow to organize my tasks for the day. After you've checked off everything on your list, you can move on to Number 3. The calendar. If you're done with your to-do list for the day, then you can take a Sharpie and cross out the day on a calendar with a big fat red X. The idea is that for every day you do this, it builds up a chain on the calendar from day 1 to day 30, and you try your best not to break the chain. With this method you get a viewable representation of the progress you've made so far that will reinforce your efforts. You can even reward yourself for a full month of consistent action, like taking yourself out for a nice dinner, and set records for yourself like I've worked non-stop for X amount of days straight and it's my personal record. Having a sense of progress will give you pride that can boost your willpower when you don't feel like working that day. That's it, guys. I hope you found this video on how to stop procrastination helpful and it helps you make a positive change in your life.